it's Crystal here and welcome back to Politics in Pajamas. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today I want to talk about Joe Biden and Medicare for All and how he's not in favor of it. If you're new here, I hope you'll consider subscribing and clicking the like button. It helps me out so much and it's totally free for you guys. So, I mean, why not? So this week, Joe Biden was interviewed on MSNBC and they asked him about basically a hypothetical situation where he's president and Congress passes a Medicare for All bill and it gets all the way to his desk. What would he do? The fact that he did not jump out of his chair in excitement as the Democratic presidential frontrunner and say he would throw a massive party and sign it is pretty disappointing. Instead, he said that, I don't know, it'd be kind of expensive and stuff, so probably, I don't know if I would sign it. He's the Democratic candidate for president. What is happening? It was probably the most disappointing thing that I've seen out of this campaign, which has just been one long series of disappointing things. But I regress. So Joe Biden, he is not only not in favor of Medicare for All, he's basically in opposition to Medicare for All. For me, Medicare for All is probably my most important voting issue. I have chronic health issues. My health is quickly deteriorating. It varies from day to day. It kind of ebbs and flows. I don't know what the next health issue is going to be because it's a disorder that causes different types of complications. And I have obviously a pre-existing condition. I have quote unquote good health insurance and I still have literally thousands of dollars of medical bills. A lot of people don't realize how quickly medical bills add up when you're spending $40 copays for appointments and you're getting procedures that have copays and you have ER visits and you have to go to see specialists that have higher copays and then you have to pay a ton of out-of-pocket for your prescriptions, which I have to do every month. So this is something that's really important to me. This is not I'm a fan of Bernie, so this is important to me. This is my life that we're talking about, and it is the most important issue for me. I also have been to Europe enough times to know that we could be doing a lot better when it comes to healthcare. And the fact that I'm thousands of dollars in debt because I got sick is mind-blowing. This issue has also come up a lot lately because there's something called the coronavirus spreading, and it turns out that when something like the coronavirus spreads, it doesn't really care if you have health insurance or not. And the fact that a lot of people don't have health insurance and don't want to go to the doctor is only making things worse in our country. So you would think that as the liberal party in America, we would be trying to fight for things that are seen as normal all over the rest of the world, which is guaranteeing healthcare as a human right. And the idea that Joe Biden would sit down for an interview and they would ask him about this amazing hypothetical where a bill got all the way through both the Senate and the House of Representatives, all the way to his desk, and he doesn't adamantly say he would support it. I mean, when you're asking Bernie Sanders supporters why they don't want to vote for Joe Biden if he's the nominee in the general election, this is why. This is why. I bought into this lie for a long time that Democrats did want everyone to have health care. They just needed to figure it out. But the idea that it could be figured out and they would still oppose it, they don't want people to have health care. And there's a reason for this. It's called donors. The pharmaceutical industry benefits when we do not all have health care because their prices are less regulated. They can charge, different rates. And if they are donating to Joe Biden and the Democratic Party, this is why people like Joe Biden cannot go on TV and say, yes, let's do Medicare for All. I would be so excited if that happened. How is that not his answer? I can't even wrap my head around it. I was literally in a state of grief last night because over the last few weeks, I've come to realize that the Democratic Party does not represent me, and they lied to me and tricked me into thinking that they were trying to represent me. They just couldn't get it done, but they're actively opposed to things that are important in my life. So I'm seeing a lot of Democrats say that if you don't vote for Joe Biden in the general election, then you were never a real Democrat. I'm sorry, why would anybody think that would be a threat to me? Like, the only people who think threatening voters by saying they're not real Democrats are living in a bubble. They're living in a bubble of privilege where they think they're in a super secret club and that if they exile people, they'll get their way. And then they have the nerve to call us brats because we don't want to vote for somebody who's actively opposed to things that could benefit my life to the point that they are life or death. So this is not helping. I do not want to vote for Joe Biden in the general election. As of right now, I am not planning to vote for Joe Biden in the general election if he is the nominee. Which brings me to our end. Bernie Sanders is still running for the Democratic nomination. There is still a lot of states that have voting coming up. I will leave voting information down below. Please go vote. Please vote for Bernie Sanders because trust me, you don't want to wait until you get sick to need health care.